So you're thinking about living in White Bear Lake, Minnesota? Well, in this video, we're gonna let Google Maps do the talking and our fingertips do the walking as we bring you through in and around the city of White Bear Lake, Minnesota. And we're gonna get after it right now. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything that there is to know about living in White Bear Lake, Minnesota, well, you have found the right place. Click that subscribe button, tap the notification bell, and smash that like button on the way in so you can be the first one to know about the current goings-on in the city of White Bear Lake, Minnesota. Now, my name's Garrett Hilton. We get calls, texts, emails every single day from people just like you looking for help on making their move to White Bear Lake, Minnesota. And we absolutely love it. So whether you're making your move in 9 days or 90 days, feel free to give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. We'd be happy to make your move to White Bear Lake, Minnesota a smooth one. Oh, and don't forget, all of our information is in the description below. Okay, everybody, we've got a lot of information to cover. It's going to come at you quick and fast in hopes that we can get in and out of here in 20 minutes. I hope you find value out of this video. Here we go. So, as a realtor, I show you properties. I help you buy one, or I help you sell one. And this video is going to be no exception, except there's going to be some other cool stuff. We're going to talk about restaurants, coffee shops, places to go, points of interest, and things like religious centers, things like grocery stores. So let's get right into it, okay? All right. So we've got, as far as single-family homes that are just freestanding single-family places, right now we've got 14 properties that are on the market in White Bear Lake and White Bear Lake Township proper. And if we were to zoom over into the other type of real estate, which would be townhouses. And let's run over there. Let's look at that. Okay, we've got a total of 5 listed townhomes in the city of White Bear Lake proper. Now, mind you, that doesn't mean that there is not multiple properties in and around White Bear Lake, because White Bear Lake does have a lot of juts and nooks and crannies and things of that nature that have a ton of townhomes available in them. Anywhere from, like, on average, it's going to be from like late 1970s on upward to brand new. And of course, since White Bear Lake is a little bit more of a established community, meaning there isn't a whole lot of brand new construction that's going on. Now, one of those other videos that I've done about a White Bear Lake blog tour explains just that, talks about infill neighborhoods. So we'll make sure to pop that video up in the screen so you can at least see the thumbnail. And it's a way for you to be able to find it. We might even be able to make it so you can click on it. So anyway, moving on. So townhomes, we've got 5 of them that are currently available without an offer on them. So that part's kind of cool. And then let's bop back over to, hold on now. Let's bop back over to condos. Not a lot of condos in the city of White Bear Lake. However, there will be some that will be available. So let's click on that. And this is what you're seeing as my view as a licensed real estate agent in the state of Minnesota. What I look at when I'm actually finding properties for you and looking for comparable sales, things of that nature, so that I can best consult you on what type what you're thinking about for making an offer, or to give you a benchmark as to if you're going to be listing your property. And it's no exception here. There's looks like, oh man, it's minimal. Oh my goodness. I wonder why that's so minimal. So we've got 1807 County Road E. How fun is that? Let's go to the map and see what that looks like. Where is that in White Bear Lake? And we're going to zoom out, and we'll zoom out again. Okay, cool. So White Bear Lake, if we are to show you on the map all the properties that are available. So that's one condo right there. And we have, let's pick the other types of real estate that are available. And again, this is only stuff that's actually available. A lot of these apps like Zillow, Redfin, Coldwell Banker, Burnett on online.com, MLSonline.com. Like they're going to show you stuff that is already on its way to closing, stuff that has an offer on it already, and it can kind of be a little bit misleading at times. So this is why I wanted to bring this stuff up to you guys, because I understand the frustration. I have folks remark about this on a regular basis, like, hey, like, what about this one? It's like, that's kind of a ghost listing. And that's another thing to take into consideration when you're looking for a home, and why to hire a realtor in the first place. Because one is we weed out the crap and actually get to the real information for you as fast as humanly possible. That's why I always say I would much rather give something that I needed done quickly to somebody that lives off of a commission, because just by virtue of their style of career and having to go get it, whatever it is that you put them up to, they're going to likely get it done rather quickly. And of course, you know, they're never going to answer their phone, but you know, whatever, once you do get them on the phone, they're going to get something done really fast. I suppose that's terrible to say that, but I digress. White Bear Lake, this isn't exactly how it really works, but it's a rectangle of sorts, and it kind of encompasses right along here, along the north or the southwest corridor of 35E. In this spot, you find Vadnais Heights. Gem Lake is also a community within White Bear Lake. It is considerably just White Bear Lake, and it's something that we could include. So actually, you know what? Why don't we include that really quick? Let's see. Yep, let's do Birchwood Village and Gem Lake. Okay, so we're going to look up. So that increases our amount of properties that are available and gives us more of a larger view of what it looks like with stuff that's available. The mass concentration of properties seems to be just south of the lake itself, and the main bridge that goes into downtown White Bear Lake proper. Now, I live over in an area that's basically like this, around this spot, because I do live in White Bear Lake, and it's one of the reasons why I like doing stuff about the suburbs, because I live in the suburbs. So anyway, so here's a good view of what White Bear Lake looks like. We've got over 22 properties available. So make sure, if you've got any questions about the next three that I'm going to show you, as far as the three properties that are available, make sure to put it in the comments below, and I can get any information that you would like. We can do that. We can set up a Zoom call, or we can set up a regular phone call to introduce one another, or to just really quick question. I'm always open for that kind of stuff, because it always leads me to building relationship and being able to have an opportunity to work for somebody you love, know, care for, and the like. Let's take a look at stuff that's along 35E. Here's a great one. Okay, quick look at that. Twin home. This does not have a super organized association. However, it does come with an association due, which generally twin homes, townhomes, condos all come with like a fixed expense that you have to pay every single month to maintain the property and to kind of feed into the kitties, so that when big capital improvements like a roof or new windows or things of that nature, it eases the burden on the collective of homeowners that are in that particular neighborhood, which is quite beneficial, especially when capital improvements need to be made, especially to properties that are of this age, 1998. They're starting to need some major upgrades and updates. Maybe new windows, maybe new garage doors. And when they're doing that, where if you were to be a traditional single family home and you would want your garage door replaced, in this example specifically, you're going to see that only cost you probably $1,200 to $1,500. So it's a way of reducing costs, because they're doing it in mass with a local installer, as well as you're supporting a mass buy, kind of like if you're the type that likes going to Costco and buying big bulk amounts of stuff that you would use over time, you can get a bit of a discount on it. So that's one really cool thing about being in a twin home. Over on the northeastern side of things, over by Bald Eagle Lake,
We've got 5873 Bayberry. I think this is another townhome. Nope, it's a regular single family home. Cool. So this is a single family home that is, am I right? Yep. Single family home that is 4 beds, 4 baths, slab on grade. It was built in 1994. It does have a full basement, which is kind of wicked awesome. Really beautiful house. Just a nice home. Look at that. Okay. It's got custom, generally, you don't see these types of transom half moon windows above the windows in these homes. So this definitely was more of an executive property when it was first built. Looks like they had the cabinets re-enameled, replaced the countertops. It is in relatively really nice shape. That's pretty great. Big eat-in dining room. That's cool. Love that. And clearly the realtor did definitely do professional photos in here because they just have a really, really nice touch and they pop really nice. Okay, so let's go one more. We'll show you one more up here. All right. Let's go down here on Jerry Street, 3-bed, 2-bath. Here we go. Right on Rooney Place. Ooh, check this. This was actually a style of one that I did not too long ago, and that's a vlog tour, so you can actually see the full inside from the video of a place just like I did over on Rooney Place in an infill neighborhood. So for questions about that, go to that. Once again, we'll pop that up on the screen for you. So it looks like we found there's a very, very large 2-bedroom that's in an infill neighborhood in White Bear Lake, and it's listed for 800 grand. It's 4-bed, 3-bath, has a 2-stall garage, and I think this one has, and it looks to be, this one does have the technology package as well, which many of the new homes in this area and around the Twin Cities are starting to think Green New Deal and put in chargers, because EVs, or electronic vehicles like Cybertruck, like a Tesla, or, I mean, Honda, everybody's doing it now, it seems like, to be able to charge your vehicle in your heated garage overnight, so you don't have to spend the extra cost of stopping off at a gas station to charge your vehicle in the morning. Super nice, super thoughtful, super convenient. And it definitely is done around convenience. I think it's a genius plan. I think it's great. And it allows for you to be able to expand your electrical ideas further, because these homes are definitely built different, which is kind of neat. I love that. All right, guys. So generally, when we're out looking at homes, first place I like to stop is someplace local. One of those being Anchor Coffee House. It's right in the heart of downtown White Bear Lake. Great place to be able to get artisan coffees, like a mocha or a latte or a breve or a white mocha. Ooh, love me a white mocha. My favorite right now is a salted white mocha, but it's got to be like, not unfortunately. However, it could be unfortunate for you, because if you don't like Starbucks, but I like going to Starbucks and getting a salted white mocha, and they actually use sea salt in it, and I think that's fantastic. There's a lot of flavors out there that they can shoot into coffees that have like a salty finish, but having that sea salt on there, oh, so good. Sorry, I digress. Another one that's great, this is Cajeta Coffee, which is absolutely fantastic. It's a local establishment. They've done very, very good for their local customers. It's a local owner that lives locally. His name's Juan, and he's just a really, really cool dude. That he and his wife run this coffee house, and they do some really, really neat Mexican delectables and like pastries and such. So it's great to get something a little bit different now and again. And Cajeta Coffee, it's 5 stars in my book. Good Things Cafe, since we're moving on and we're talking about coffee anyways, let's talk about breakfast. Good breakfast place, super awesome. Place is a little bit more expensive, but they offer organic breakfasts that are super, super delicious, and locally sourced vegetables, etc., etc. Second up on the list for breakfast spots, Cafe Cravings. It's a Gracie Spoon restaurant that has roots for years and years and years in the city of White Bear Lake. Just on the north side, it's right off 35W and super, super convenient for the morning, grabbing a morning coffee. They also do artisan coffees in the morning. Not maybe as fancy because I think they just have the automatic machine that just kind of puts stuff together. To me, it doesn't feel as special, but it's still, nevertheless, super fast service, local wait staff, and very, very good locally sourced produce. I believe they order their breads from a local bakery, which is, I think, super cool. Great place to have breakfast. Moving right along, considering eating, right? Well, let's talk about grocery stores, because that's what actually matters to people in the everyday as it relates to White Bear Lake. So what I thought was kind of cool about White Bear Lake is that it literally has two freaking Cub Foods. Now, if you've never heard of Cub Foods is kind of blended together with like a Lunds, Byerly's, and Cub Foods. And what's special about them? Well, Lunds is like their upper echelon, fancy schmancy version of a grocery store that's got like carpeted floors. They've got super fancy, expensive artisan breads and ... Cub Foods is more for the middle class, or like more for like the mainstream person looking for more price point versus having carpeted floors in your grocery store. Cub is great, and there's actually two of them. So if we go over here, we've got Cub Foods it says Maplewood East, but it's basically right on the border of White Bear Lake. So it's way, way on the southeast side of White Bear Lake. But then if you were to hop up on the north side of White Bear Lake, more so like the northwest side or west-northwest side, is Cub in White Bear Lake Township. So it's kind of cool to have two Cubs. I think that's kind of neat. Festival Foods right up at the tippy top of White Bear Lake. Right in the middle, right around downtown, is Kowalski's. Kowalski's, from my perspective, is just a little bit more expensive. However, the convenience of it being right in downtown, because of where I live, it's literally like a 2-minute drive, and I'm in the parking lot, locking my car and walking into the grocery store. And I think that's fantastic. They also have a Starbucks inside, which I think is pretty cool as well. And it's a great place to actually meet with clients or just meet a friend and catch up. Grocery, and then of course Lunds and Byerly's. Right across the street from the Cub is the Lunds and Byerly's, or the Lunds Foods grocery store. Then another one's a really great one is Fresh Thyme, which is, I think that's technically in North Oaks, but the Fresh Thyme is great because they offer mostly, I think like the vast majority of everything that they offer there is organic, locally sourced, and they offer great value because that's their gig. That's all they do. You're going to find a lot of like gluten-free stuff there, a lot of vegan stuff, a lot of vegan-friendly type of grocery aisles, if you will. And then they do have a small selection. It kind of would make you think of like a Trader Joe's, where Trader Joe's just has all of their own branded stuff, because that's one of the ways that they offer value is they have their own brands, so they're not paying out as much to the people that put food in their grocery store, right? Really very, very, very close to White Bear Lake, within 10 minutes, is either a Walmart Supercenter, which is right in Vadnais Heights, as well as an Aldi that's in Maplewood. Super great place to be able to grab regular groceries and kind of form your grocery list around, because their produce is super cheap. From my experience, it's generally like it's not as fresh as most. I could be wrong, but it occurs to me that their stuff kind of spoils quickly. So it's great to be regularly going there to get fresh produce. However, you want to be getting it home and eating it within a couple, 3 days. Oh, something else kind of cool is we got Mike's Discount Foods that's coming in. And Mike's Discount Foods, if you've never heard of them, that particular grocery store has been around for a long time. just in smaller amounts. They don't have as many locations, but they've got contracts with like Whole Foods, Fresh Time, Cub. I mean, there's a multitude of places that they buy all of the older produce from, and 99% of it is organic, and you just got to like eat it today. And I think that that's great. It's offered at an extreme discount, and it's a way in which to eliminate some of the waste that commercial grocery stores wind up creating and putting in their dumpster, versus now they actually offer it at a place that's actually a grocery store. Very simplistic, small, easy to get through, and it's kind of everything's right there. You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit, and it's way cheaper. Schools in White Bear Lake. Let's talk about schools really quick. Quite a few all around in White Bear Lake School District. So, as I mentioned about in downtown White Bear Lake, right next to the lake and across on the west side of Highway 61, because that was the most convenient for building industrial commercial-sized buildings. That's also where a lot of the religious centers are too. A lot of this, for many, many years, this is where people would vacation during the summer, and a lot of them are cabin type and have like deeded access to the lake. Which is really, really great, because I mean, you got local access from pretty much anywhere in White Bear Lake proper. You're within 2 minutes from a lake that is both stocked with fish, and they're heavily regulated by the state of Minnesota Conservation and Environmental. Is it department? Yeah, I think it's department. Anyway, high schools. You've got junior schools, we've got Montessori's on the west side of 61. And like for example, you got Lincoln Elementary School. My kids go to this park on a regular basis because I got younger kids. And Catholic Academy. So we've got some religious background based private schools that are here as well. Central Middle School, which is a traditional public school. It's the middle school that now has actually it's now been combined with the new North High School. And I would say, oh, that's kind of a bummer. They actually don't have pictures of the outside of the high school, which is pretty colossal. So when we are looking at properties together, I'll have to drive you by the new North, which is super, super crazy awesome. They just built it. They did not do it by eminent domain. They got what residents that were living there right along Bald Eagle Avenue to sell their property to the city of White Bear Lake so that they could actually build the new North High School. It's brought in a ton of industry, because you've got headhunters and new industry alike that were invigorated because of the new high school, because of its technologically advanced. It brought jobs in, more subcontractors, and it's just really, really cool overall what was done. So moving on to religious centers, shall we? We shall. Like many of the communities that I talk about and I do these map tours with you guys, is the fact that Minnesota is deeply rooted in Judeo-Christian teachings. And for many communities around Minnesota, generally, if like you've got 5 Judeo-Christian teaching churches and you have one that would be maybe a mosque or a Buddhist temple, or you have a Spanish immersion church. From my perspective, it seems that those are much more diverse and inclusive communities. And I really, really love that aspect of White Bear Lake, is that it doesn't feel like you're walking into just a sea of white. It's just a really, really good blend of different cultures, people of color, and bringing their roots to the conversation of White Bear Lake, Minnesota. And such is the same with our elected officials. And I absolutely love that about the community, particularly this community, because I live here. So as far as religious centers, Christ the King Lutheran Church, which is a little bit more traditional, much like St. Mary of the Lake Church. And a perfect example, here we go, Icasa White Bear Lake, which would be 100% Spanish immersion church, which I think is totally dope and super cool. First Presbyterian Church, St. John in the Wilderness, the Emmaus Church, which would be a free church, which is super cool, getting a little more progressive there. I think we have 2 or 3 Catholic churches, one of them being pretty conservative Roman Catholic. And then we've got, I don't think you can call it like an evangelical Catholic church, but it would be St. Mary of the Lake is a much more progressive Catholic church. And I just like that type of a blend. I think that's super, super cool. Community of Grace Lutheran Church is down on the south side of White Bear Lake, and White Bear Lake United Methodist. So it kind of checks all the boxes of Judeo-Christian teachings. However, we do have very close by, we do have a Buddhist temple, and just a quick jaunt up 35E to Forest Lake, and we do have Karmaic lifestyle, or not Karmaic lifestyle, but Karmaic religious teachings. That's basically it's a religious center that's like set in the woods, setting, which I think is super, super cool. So there we go. Something that'll matter to many of you is daycares. Let's talk about daycares in the city of White Bear Lake, shall we? Let's count them out. As far as daycares in White Bear Lake proper, and this isn't like counting like your mom and pop, Cindy down the road, watches kids for kids in the neighborhood, and she may have a license, but she doesn't advertise. That's not what this list is, not all encompassing. So that's not to say that those places don't have value and they're not important. I'm just not mentioning them because they're clearly not organized on Google Maps. Kinderberry Hill Child Development Center, which offers you early childhood education as well as a place for your kiddos to stay during the workday. For many of you that do work outside the home. Community of Grace Discovery Center Early Childhood Development, which is another one. They offer learning for pre-K type of stuff. Shoreview Kindercare, another one. They offer the same things. Don Johnson Daycare, which is somebody that actually just got put on Google, which is fantastic. They just do daycare. So it could be anywhere from, I think, like 6 months old or 4 months old onward up to, I think, probably 7 or around in that area. Not 100% about that one, but if you would like and you've got questions about that, drop a comment below and I can give you that explanation by just finding it real quick and making a quick phone call. Parks, you're gonna love the amount of parks we have. Let's move right on into nature, entertainment, and parks. We've got Mead Park, Podvin Park, Tamarack Nature Center, which is so awesome. It's just acres and acres and acres of trails and nature right in the midst, right in the heart of it. Bald Eagle Otter Lake Regional Park, which is super nice. It's right on the lake setting, super great and good to be able to watch wildlife. Take Fido the Golden Reliever for a quick run or to exercise them. That are animal friendly. Another one is Mead Park and Podvin Park are both animal friendly. So for you pet moms and pet dads, you've got that at your convenience as well. On White Bear Lake County Park, which is great because that's where the beaches are at White Bear Lake County Park. And so if you'd like more information about this, again, drop a comment below and I'll be sure to get further information to you. We can set up a Zoom or set up a quick phone call. It's perfectly fine. Feel free if you want, just send me a text. Perfectly open to it. This is what I do for a living, and I love answering those types of questions. Activities, I already mentioned Tamarack Nature Center. Polar Park, I've been to with my kids. It's super updated. Let's actually click on Polar Park. Polar Park is right off of the Blue Star Memorial Highway, and it's got 5 stars. And it's just a really, really big place. It's got really cool playground equipment. Also has some ball fields and soccer fields, which are kind of nice. I think they used to, I'm not sure if they do right now or if they do anymore, but they had pickleball fields. That's another thing. I want to go over here really quick and point to, that's 35E. That's Otter Lake. And this would be, where is Bald Eagle Avenue? There we go. So here's Bald Eagle Lake. Yep. Here we go. So something I particularly enjoy about Bald Eagle Lake is the trails that run all the way around the lake, so that you've got picturesque views while you're doing so. There's also another, there's a place, thinking activities in the city of White Bear Lake. Something that's really, really neat that I liked about, and we've been here before, is the White Bear Lake Center for the Arts. They do that in support of those that are, maybe aficionados with art, but also for the hobbyists. They offer classes for the community-based programs. They got children's performing arts, which is cool because they've got a local theater troupe, which is great if you wind up putting your kids in a private school and they don't necessarily have a theater program. It's a great place to get that. Let's talk about restaurants. Oh my gosh. First and foremost, and I even have we've even got some footage here, and let's talk about certainly last but certainly not least. There is a place that is a sandwich shop, or it sounds like it's just simply a sandwich shop. Alleycat's Gourmet Sandwiches. So I'll take a break now. Let's head out there really quick.
So whether it's lunchtime, dinner time, or anytime, Alleycat's Gourmet Sandwiches, oh my Lanta. Especially during the summertime when you're out boating, maybe you guys rent a boat, or if you actually have a boat on the slip. Oh man, it's just so convenient. It's right there available for you. Very, very great price point, and they've got some pretty darn good sandwiches. Burgers as well, pulled pork, maybe if you like a Reuben. Man, the choices, they almost seem endless. So my favorite thing here, gotta be honest, is the wild rice soup. Seems a little crazy, but man, their soup and sandwich, oh my goodness. And their wild rice soup is made here every single day, and it's got some really, really cool, like, framed pictures on the walls. I mean, they have a cow with all the meat cuts on it. It's kind of fun. Anyway, so, as I was saying, my favorite here is the wild rice soup. They make it every day, and it's like so thick you can throw it against the wall and it barely even comes off. And this is what I would call the best of White Bear Lake. Alleycat's Gourmet Sandwiches. You should try it out. So currently, my favorite dish right now is their wild rice soup. It's absolutely amazing. It's so thick, you could slap it on a wall and it wouldn't even move. And they give you free oyster crackers with it. No, good. So good. Another thing is, along with your burger or whatever, you can have fries. You know, fries are such a great American pastime. You know what I'm saying? But I do something a little bit weird. You know those little idiosyncrasies that you have, those people that are extreme and weird? Drop a comment below if you're that guy, or gal for that matter, who likes pepper on your ketchup. Is that strange? Pop it down in the comments. I would love to hear what you guys think. Fresh, crispy fries. So great.
All right, guys, let's, I don't know about you, but that was a really, really great meal at Alleycat's. Now, if you're looking for something a little bit fancier, great opportunity, especially if you got people coming into town, is Rudy's Red Eye Grill. It's just barely off of downtown White Bear Lake, and they offer really, really great cuisine that is a little more upscale. And the picture that you're seeing right now is actually their rooftop patio. Awesome during the summer, especially watching sunsets at the end of the evening. And they've got delicious prime rib, really, really good, just a good blended menu of recipes, and very, very fantastically trained both wait staff and their cooks, second to none. Very, very good. Awesome for a special night out, as well as for an afternoon cocktail on the rooftop, which that place is packed all the time. And there's a reason, because their service is second to none, and the value is there because you get big portions and it's super, super great. So let's go back one here. Last one. Places like Beartown, the Wild Town Tavern's great. Washington Square Bar and Grill. This has been a staple for years and years and years. A lot of folks that got a great patio, concrete patio out front, and it allows you to be able to see everything during our festivals and such that we have in the city of White Bear Lake. So that's super fantastic. Love that. Okay, and after you've had a great breakfast or a great lunch or a great dinner, there's nothing that quite completes it like ice cream, right? I don't know how you could not like ice cream, but ice cream's great. Anyways, Cup and Cone has been around for years and years and years. Their location has been there since, I believe, oh my gosh, I think since the 50s. Cup and Cone is the greatest place that I've seen to get cheap ice cream that tastes like it's State Fair or, you know, like the soft serve or whatever. And they make it all locally here, which I think is super cool. And it's a walk-up place. There isn't a drive-through, and it's a great place for community patrons to meet together and fellowship and just kind of be around one another. And it's just got a lot of energy during the summer, and there's always a line that's like 40 humans deep.
Hey everybody, real quick here, Garrett Hilton one more time. Make sure you click that subscribe button, tap the notification bell, and smash that like button on the way in so you can be the first one to know about the current market in White Bear Lake, Minnesota. Thanks so very much for watching. You stay classy.